something.
Yo, yo,
Yeah, I got you.
hello, hello, hello,
Yo, yo, yo.
hello, hello, hello.
That sounds good.
Sound good.
Sounds good. All right, hey, third time's a charm. We want to give all praise and glory unto
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kwadash.
All right, we'll give a double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule well, and also saying shalom and salutations to the sincere brothers that push the word with truth and with faith. We're the brothers of Great Millstone Northwest. We're coming together to do a lesson. All right, this is our third time trying to start it, so hopefully the audio goes well on this one. Kalak, take it away.
Yeah, so tonight we'll be talking about the uproars of the people. You know, as we get closer to the end of Esau's Edom kingdom, this Babylon experience, you know, there's going to be more uproars of the people, more sedition, more bug outs, just more all out anarchy, you know, and we're seeing it as, like I said, as this kingdom keeps going on to its shambles. More and more people are just fed up. You know, we've been crying out. We've been fed up with the way things are going since we, you know, came into this understanding, this knowledge, this great truth of the kingdom. So, how much more the people, you know? If any brothers got something to start off with, I can start off with that second Hydras 9.
Second Ezra 9.
I'll let y'all go.
That's a good place to start. Go ahead, bro.
Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse, let me see.
You start at the top.
Yeah, I'm looking for the point.
The point's at verse 2, 3, verse 3, 4.
Okay, yeah. All right. Second Ezra 9, in verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Right. Hey, go ahead. You got it.
Oh no, I was just on that first verse. Measure thou the time diligently in itself. So you got to be constantly in the news. You know, Apostle Har always goes into, or here lately, and you miss a day, you miss a lot. You know, so going into the news and aligning it with the biblical scriptures and prophecy. You know, lining up what's happening right now and filtering it through the prophecies. Is this the time we're living in? Is that the time we're living in? And we can see right now that this is the end.
Right. Because the scriptures give you a biblical timeline, man. It tells you all the way from the creation, all the way through to the kingdom of heaven. The scriptures cover that topic, man. Okay, so there's a clock that can be monitored by knowing what's within the scriptures, by knowing the prophecies, by knowing where we're at in prophecy. We can see how much further we have. You know, we can calculate how much has passed already, and we can see how much further we need to go. And with that spiritual clock, everything is pointing and telling us that we are in the end times, right before our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai HaMashiach comes back. Yeah. All right, so the time is being measured diligently. All right, by the servants and the prophets of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, the true ones, because you got other people out there saying, well, according to the biblical timeline, you know, we could have anywhere from 1,000 years.
Right.
Like, nah, man, like, the things that are heating up and going on right now, you can ignore if you want to, but I suggest you don't, because it's high time to awake out of sleep. Mm-hmm. Things are heating up at a major speed, and shit's getting real. So, you know, keeping your eyes to the news is a very good place to be right now.
Yeah, because we're spiritual reporters. You know, the Lord said we're watchmen, so we're watching out for the times and reporting it back, like we're commanded to. So when we see something that's happening in the world or on the TV screen, the mass media, we're reverting back to the scriptures and filtering it, so we have that understanding, and we can give that understanding to the flocks, to the sheep. You know.
Go ahead.
I want to read this in the NLT, in the GNT, excuse me. Let me see something.
Because it said when you see part of these things come to pass, then you shall know that it is the very same time where the highest is going to begin to visit the earth. All right, and there's no doubt that the Lord is beginning to visit that judgment is going out throughout the earth. It's going out. It's just sweeping across.
Look at the 91 tornadoes in the south, or in the Midwest South region.
The earthquakes that just happened.
Yeah.
You know, you still got crazy events going on. Think about all the people that died from plane crashes this past year. All right, you still got all kinds of things. There's still war going on. Bombs are still being dropped in Gaza.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of judgment that's just going out throughout the entirety of the earth, man. Some that's real close to you, and some that's afar off. But the Heavenly Father is definitely active. All right, there's no that's why the scriptures say, though it tarry, wait for it. It shall surely come to pass. It will not tarry.
Just because it hasn't happened, it hasn't came to your front door.
Right.
Doesn't mean this ain't right around the corner.
And that's one of the things too about measuring the time is that some of the things might not happen in your neighborhood or in your neck of the woods. Some of the things that's prophesied might happen on the other side of the earth, but you got to be paying attention. You got to be a watchman on your watch, paying attention, so that way you can notice these things come. Okay.
Hey, if you look at like the scriptures talk about the Most High pretty much dividing up the world into 12 parts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like some events are closer than others. If you look at the events that happen in the world, lining up with biblical prophecy, it's like a ruler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's certain the foot mark for the 12 inch foot mark is not 1 inch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's numbers that you have to actively count past to get to that foot mark.
Yeah.
All right. So with prophecy, these events and things taking place in the in the world, certain things happen at it might be a cluster of things that pop off at one time, and then there can be some years that go by before some significant events take place. But that's why you got to be actively looking.
Something real quick. A herald definition.
Oh, that's good.
It says a person who announces important news. It says often literary. It says a forerunner, harbinger. It says the intermediate rank of heraldic office between king of arms and what's it say?
You want to add them online?
Pursuant? No, it's the freedictionary.com.
So what a herald is the the people that go out there and hear ye.
Yeah. To announce publicly,
Yep.
to decree or usher in.
So the herald, the job in the kingdom, what a herald would do is the king would give forth a command, something this is now law, right? This is everybody got to follow this now. The herald is the one that's gonna go out there in the town square and set up a soapbox and yell that shit out to everybody. Make sure that anybody passing by gets this information. They're gonna cry out that message.
Yep. It says a royal or official messenger, especially one representing a monarch in an ambassadorial capacity during wartime, a person or thing that precedes or comes before, forerunner, harbinger, a person or thing that proclaims or announces. That's what. Yep.
Right. So like in the New Testament, in Luke, where it speaks about who's going to build a tower without first counting the cost, or what king will see how much troops he have versus how much troops the enemy have, and if he doesn't really want that smoke, he'll send somebody, an ambassador to go and speak. That's a herald who he will go and send to that other side to go and speak on his behalf. That's the herald, man. The ambassador.
Yeah, ambassador. Yep, that's somebody who speaks on another person's behalf.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, have you ever been to a like a play, a live play? At the beginning, they'll come out with the trumpet, and then the herald will kind of tell you what's going on for the night and what the story is kind of getting into.
Yeah, if, brother, want to read that?
Harold from the Edamon line.
What you done with yours?
Yeah, I was in there.
This is Harold from the Edamon line, messenger, envoy, late 13th circle, and Anglo-Latin
13th like century
Anglo-Latin
or circa.
1200 as a surname from Anglo-French Harold, Old French
It's like an old sound.
Harold, 12th century from Frankish, what's that? Harold, commander of an army or similar Germanic source from Proto-Germanic Harga army, from Pyrut, Koro, war, see Harry.
Harry.
Plus Wadals.
Wadals, to command, rule, see will. The form fits, but the sense evolution is difficult to explain unless it is in reference to the chief officer of a tournament who introduced knights and made decisions on rules.
Right. So like in the Colosseum,
No, you good, bro.
Okay, in the Colosseum, because there's been like they just did the Gladiator 2 movie. You know what I'm saying? They Pompeii. They did movies in the Colosseum with the gladiators and whatnot. The herald will be the person that's in the white gown. You know what I'm saying? Maybe have the wreaths on their head, but they sit there and they yell out before the games. They announce the events before the game. You know what I'm saying? Not the actual emperor themselves or anything like that, but they got their own little box where they can step forward.
They
and
might call
announce.
him a host now.
Right, and nowadays
They're
they'll be
getting
called a host,
different
right?
titles, but Harold
Right,
would be,
a host, a narrator,
Yeah, narrator,
right?
yeah.
Type of they would go forth and announce to where everybody in the Coliseum can hear what the event was. You know, who won, who lost, what was about to happen.
And just like them dudes before the boxing matches. The
Yep,
nigga with the
yep.
long ass
Hey, with the
dreadlocks.
dreads.
Yeah.
Showtime.
Hey.
Those guys. Yeah. The Zone.
Yeah, the zone.
Y'all brothers ever seen that movie, A Knight's Tale?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been a while since I
What's
watched
the nigga
it.
that played the Joker?
The nigga that played the
Passed
new
away?
Joker. The new Joker.
He's legend.
He's
He's in the
old
movie.
Joker.
He's in the
Okay.
movie.
Yeah, so
Played the knight.
he got this.
He was the knight, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah, I
knight.
ain't seen that movie since like middle school or some shit.
So he had the one dude that liked to gamble and always getting in trouble that they found naked walking
Crazy
down the street.
motherfucker.
He was their herald because he'd be
Mm.
like Van Liechtenstein. He'd go out and say this whole thing like he hails from this family. He does it. You know, he was a herald as well, just for an example of that.
And really, we are the heroes.
We are the
You know what I'm
heralds.
saying?
Yeah.
The prophets of Yahweh Shemi Al Shai are the true heroes.
First Proverbs 1, it says, go out to the chief concourse.
Wisdom part out.
Grab that.
Hey, I
That's
got
that brothers.
One,
No, go ahead.
I got just a quick
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
Because this brother, just to verify, this brother was talking about when they're commanded to go out as watchmen. This is Isaiah 62:6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence. And that's what we're doing, man. We're telling you Jeremiah 28:8. We're continuing to tell you the things that have been before time that are affecting right now, and the prophecies that have been spoken before that are coming into fruition.
Hey, yeah, with all this happening in the world, you know, the events, you know, everything's just negative, and that's why a lot of people don't watch the news, because it's just a bunch of negativity. You know what I'm saying?
We love it.
They said, yeah,
Right,
they
right.
said it's
right.
over 3,000 people died in that earthquake over in Myanmar. But just because of stuff like that, people don't like watching the news. But what they don't understand is
Definitely.
yeah. What people don't understand is they're like the frog in a pot. They're becoming so normalized of seeing violence and just evil and death in the world, like the brother mentioned, that they don't understand that these events is directly going to affect them to the point that the people that's here in Babylon the Great is going to be left here to actually be cooked. You know? So, and like brother said, we love it. We love seeing all this negative in the news because those events have to play out in order for us to get the hell up out of here.
That's
you know?
right. That's right.
Means tune in.
Yeah, you read the precept already, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, let me read this real quick. This is Matthew. I still got more in this, but Matthew 22 and verse 9. It says, "Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage."
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. There's more to it, but the point being, going out to actually bid individuals to the marriage, we do that in the form of going out, on the weekend, every Saturday or Sunday, whenever brothers go out. Some brothers go out during the week, and actually, just get into the scriptures, man. Bring out the spirit and of the truth. Bring out the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Casting them spiritual nets,
Mm-hmm.
fishers of men.
Yep.
Whether you be offended or not, it's not us. It's not up to us to make you believe into what this truth is about and what's going on in the world. You can turn a blind eye to it, or you can, follow suit and, hope and pray and do the things right for your salvation if you believe in this thing,
But everything's already foreordained anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Well, just like the herald, they'll go out there and give forth the king's message. They did, you know what I'm saying?
Whether you listen or not.
They can't take in account, oh man, the common people hate the king, and you know what I'm saying? They're not they're gonna throw tomatoes at
I was
you.
gonna say whether you
They-
gotta eat
yeah,
a tomato or not, you're going out there.
They gotta go out there and give forth that message, man.
Whether you gonna die or not, you gotta get that message.
Right.
look at in 300 when the dude came to tell Leonidas
Right,
about,
right.
y'all about to go into
Earth
slavery,
and
we need
water.
all of this, might as well give it up.
Earth and water.
Offering.
And he turned on the herald. He kicked
Yeah,
his ass,
yeah, he
pushed
kicked
all
his
his
ass.
servants and all of them in the hole.
Yep.
And they all died. I mean,
Yeah.
so this is, what we're doing. This is, we can lose our life over this one. So it's a sacrifice.
That's right.
Living sacrifice.
That's a beautiful point too. The messenger was at the mercy of whoever they was going forth to give. That's why they have that whole statement of "Don't kill the messenger."
And look at Corey, Acor,
Mhm.
and Judah.
Yep.
They hemmed him up and sent him to the Israelites.
Yeah.
They put handcuffs
So
on
you
him.
going with
Tied
Northern
him up.
King,
And he was, just relaying the message.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
I don't think y'all would have messed with them like that.
Right.
you know?
No, he did that because he was being proud and he was boasting because he was like, "I'm gonna kill you with them."
Mm-hmm.
So he sent it to them. So he was like trying to be on some boasting ass shit. Like, I'm gonna send you with them. So now when I go kill them, I'm gonna kill you with you. You know what I'm saying? Not
Assuming
knowing.
that the Lord wasn't going to intervene.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Cause that nigga just got too much. It's just proud, man. Mm-hmm.
I got this in Proverbs. Proverbs 1, and I'll start at 20. It says, "Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of the concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the cities. In the city she uttered her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge."
So wisdom's been crying throughout the streets for what, 50 years now? Over 50 years, man. All right, starting in about 1969, moving all the way through to this day and age of 2025. Wisdom has been crying in the streets, man. Not just the streets of America either, throughout the streets of the entirety of the earth, because the internet has done the heavy lifting. Okay, and it's been crying, asking How long are you Israelites gonna keep playing this sick ass game, man? You know, how long are you so-called Negroes, you so-called Latinos, you so-called Native and Seminole Indians going to continue to live to live at the bottom? You know, how long are you going to stay in that mindset where everybody can just run over you with no consequences? You know, when are you going to turn back onto your power, which is going to ultimately uplift you above all those other races, man? You know, so the wisdom has been going out. You have some people who's been listening. You have some people who's been casting it off, thinking that it's far off, man. But according unto the signs that we've been seeing, all right, getting back into that second Esdras, according unto the measuring of the times of what we're doing, we know that our salvation, it's real close to us, man. It draws nigh. The day of the Lord is close, okay? The time of things not being in that peaceful state or in that slumbering state, that's over, all right? Now it's time for the earthquakes. Now it's time for the uproars of the people, all right? Now it's time for everybody, the neighbor to be against neighbor, all right? Country to be against country. The wars and the rumors of wars. All right, now it's time for the earth to be in calamity because we know that the Lord and Savior is coming back, man. This whole kingdom is falling apart. You got the whole system, the revival of the Roman Empire, the NATO and the EU crumbling right before our very eyes, man. That's the time that we're in, you know?
And we see it with the financial part of it, the economics, you know, as DJ Chester Cheeto Trump put tariffs on the world. He's even taxing penguins. You know, what the hell do penguins got to do with this?
Right.
You know, so the more he, you know, continues to, you know, bully, you know, the more these other countries are going to be like, hell no, we're not with that. We're not in fear of you like we used to be. You know, we got some grit about ourselves now. You know, let the weak say I'm strong.
We got some bombs.
We got some bombs. We got some.
We got one here quitter.
Mm-hmm.
Get you
Look at Iran. Iran got a plasma weapon now
Damn.
that nobody got. You know, and they scared over that. You know.
Yeah. Sorry.
Real quick.
Since we're waiting, it's gonna be this drink.
Okay, I just want to type that plasma what we need.
Oh, did you? Okay. Hey, can I read this real quick then? Because Kalak just quoted this. All right. This is Joel chapter 3. I'm gonna read verse 9 and verse 10. All right. It says, proclaim ye. Joel chapter 9 verse 1. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let the men of war draw nigh, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak say, I am strong. That's the time we're in, the time of a global war, all right? A time of all kinds of nations turning on each other, you know, nations that was historically weak, gaining power, gaining a left hook as well to be able to counter, all right? You know, gaining gaining a seat at the table, so to speak, all right? Because now everybody got some type of a military power, something that they can do. It ain't just you gonna beat up on them; they can do something back onto you.
Exactly.
You know, Craig got his brick and his trash can. You know,
I was gonna say, you know, we all grew up with, you know, that one motherfucker that was always getting bullied and beat up and treated like shit, and then he started doing them push-ups and started fighting everybody. It was over after that. That nigga was beat. That nigga was getting to it. Burdusky's.
Real quick, let me read this. So, being that the brother mentioned plasma weapon, this is just off of the internet. It says plasma weapon definition. I asked what a plasma weapon was. It said a plasma weapon is a type of direct energy weapon that fires a beam, bolt, or a stream of plasma. It can be used in various forms such as pistols, rifles, and cannons. These weapons use plasma discharge to accelerate projectiles or emit plasma directly as a form of energy projection. In the context of science fiction, plasma weapons are often depicted as firing directed bursts of plasma that remain coherent over long distances, such as 500 meters. That's a lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's all that is a lightsaber.
The little
Fucking the space age,
Mhm.
it just said science
Yep.
fiction.
yeah,
Mhm.
the laser guns that they're always shooting
Yeah.
in all of those type of movies.
Yeah.
Alright, but it mentioned the direct energy weapon, the DO weapon. The DO weapon is what they suspect hit Hawaii.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah, I
suspect
remember
that
that
the DO weapon was used in California, those wildfires that just passed last year.
Yep.
You know, they that's what they call them, DO weapons, DEW, direct energy weapons. You know, so Esau does indeed have that type of technology.
He won't tell you that.
No, they always do this with information. They'll throw something in there to try to derail you. You know, to make it seem as if this is all just science fiction.
Right.
Esau's been working on the things that you've seen in the movies. Esau's trying to find a way to make that reality, man.
And you know what? A plasma weapon probably needs nuclear energy.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Being that it doesn't reload like a bullet or a pistol or a rifle, or
Right.
you know, something that takes a certain caliber, you know, a bullet, being a rifle or something like that. Just finishing this up, it says in experimental designs, a plasma cannon, also known as an electrothermal accelerator, uses a plasma discharge between electrodes to generate a rapid increase in pressure, which then accelerates a projectile. This method differs from traditional firearms that use chemical propellants like black powder or nitrocellulose. It says in the Terminator franchise, plasma weaponry is depicted as a significant technology used by both the Resistance and Skynet. Elon Musk's bullshit. Skynet during the future war. So we in the future, man.
Yeah, we here.
You know, being that you know, as the brother said, there's reports that Iran has this technology, man. Hey, this is a high time to wake out of sleep, man.
Right.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
got
Right.
Plasma weapons blowing you off from anywhere in the, you know, from outer space.
Shit,
Blowing it up.
somebody coming, blowing like in the Terminator movie, blowing a big ass hole with a plasma weapon in your chest, and you still alive, looking through
Looking
yourself.
down at the hole.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is crazy. You know, so
We here.
hey, man, this is the
Yeah.
end.
We
That's
here.
it.
And the Lord ain't gonna allow a weapon, that technology to just, we live
Be in
in
the hands.
80 years in the future.
Right.
After that technology is in the hands, like you said, of everybody.
To where it is Terminator shit. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? 'Cause they already got the robots that they trying to come out with and all that.
Y'all see the new Kawasaki,
Yeah.
bruh?
Yeah. I
The,
saw that.
a robot, it's a motorcycle, a robot motorcycle dog looking thing. Crazy.
Climbing mountains and all that shit.
Yeah.
Hey, not only that, you know, if it was here for a long time, one of Esau kids would be making it in the basement.
Oh
Right,
yeah, 3D
right.
printing that
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
You got Esau, like, you know, coming out of the woodwork, little kids, you know,
Yeah.
making these, you know, big time things, you know, not,
Yeah.
you know, plasma weapon, but I've seen several different accounts of, you got like a 13, 14-year-old Edomite kid coming out of his basement and said, I made this, you know, some energy plasma or energy weapon or
Yeah.
some type of,
Some Ghostbusters.
yeah,
Right.
some shit like
Right.
that,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
It's his blessing.
That shit is crazy.
All right, so getting back to Second Ezra, I'm gonna start at verse 2, 9 and 2. This is in the GNT. It says, "You will know that the time has come when the Most High will bring judgment on the world He has created. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, and that's the title of this stream.
Yep.
Nationwide protests. All right, nationwide protests, uproars of the people. Verse 3 again, it says, there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. When you see these things happening, Real quick, we're gonna look
And
at the word intrigue.
that's what we have all throughout the earth, man. All right.
Everywhere.
So it said you will know that the time has come when the Heavenly Father will begin to visit the world which He created, and then it starts going down this list of things that will be happening. All right. It mentions earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, which we're looking at word up right now, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. And we have all of that going on. We was just sitting here watching Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump in the White House,
Lying,
right?
lying,
And
lying.
just sitting there spewing forth madness, man.
Oh, the trade deficit thing.
Right. Oh yeah. His chart, his trade deficit chart, or the tariffs chart.
Yeah,
or whatever it was.
you know, just going into how the Trump administration is just lying with these tariffs. You know, just roughly going into it, they have said that the number that Trump got for the tariffs that he's imposing on these other nations is he came to that conclusion using the trade deficit that America has with these nations, being that America it imports more goods from these other nations than it exports goods to them. So the difference in that number is what he's using to decide to come up with the number of the percentage of the tariff that he's imposing on these nations, which you ain't supposed to do that. That's been in the rules. So he's pretty much cooking the books.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's going about it the wrong way, and for a minute, people wasn't understanding. You know, nations wasn't understanding. Like, nigga, where are you getting this from? You like, how are you getting these numbers?
Right.
But doing some research, they tapped into the trade deficit and was like, oh, that's how he's cooking the books and giving us these percentages. That's not valid, pretty much. You know, but alternative news media lets you know that he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? When you actually look at the press conferences that Trump has with whoever he's having it with, you know, he'll sit up there and lie through his teeth saying everything's all good, and you know, no, it's not. You know what I'm saying? But we was just going over that earlier though. But you know, that brother's got slack.
Well, hey, read this word intrigue from etymology.
All right, this is edomonline.com, and it says intrigue. It says 1610s, to trick, deceive, cheat. From French intrigueur, 16th century, circa 1600s. It says from Italian intriguer. Intrigare. I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
I was working
Sound a
on
little bit better.
I was working on my Italian mob shit.
Yeah. It says
Italian mob.
to plot a metal, perplexed puzzle. From Latin inticare. To entangle. Entanglement? To entangle, perplex, embarrass.
Wow.
Okay? Meaning to plot or scheme. And that's all Babylon is doing. All these nations is doing the same thing. They all plotting and scheming on how they gonna cook the books.
And
you
not
know,
only that, he said the market is a Ponzi scheme.
yeah. Oh,
So,
Mike Adams.
Yeah. So the market over there in New York, you know, the stock market is a Ponzi scheme. You know, it's all, you know, just made up shit. You know, it ain't really, you know, this going up and down. You know, it's dead this shit. But we see like, because I know a couple people that trade and stuff like that, and they look pitiful right now. They face look, they look like they had a shower in a day, a couple days.
Sitting at their laptop, just looking at the numbers.
Drinking a whole bottle of something.
Yeah.
You know, these people, you know, they intrigued.
Well, let you know that's kind of, that shit ain't really real, is that they'll cut it off. If it starts falling too much, they'll cut it off. If it was real, you would have to let that motherfucker hit the floor.
Yeah.
You would have to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no, we gonna cut it off to try to, we gonna see how it do tomorrow. Nah, you gotta let that motherfucker fall as far as it's gonna fall, man.
Yeah.
They'll let it rise as high as it'll go. Let that motherfucker fall. You know? Were you still reading on this?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It says meaning to plot or scheme is recorded by 1714 that of quote unquote to excite curiosity. It's from 1894. OED calls this use a modern Gallicism. It says it also could mean carry on a clandestine or illicit sexual relationship. 1650s. The word appears earlier in English, and this is Newspeak like a motherfucker.
Right. Yeah, what's that word?
Gallicism, French. A French expression, especially one adopted by speakers of another language. Okay. Whatever. So
Is there
yeah.
more on that?
No, that's it.
Can I read this? This is an AI
Hold
over.
up, Slocky.
There was more on that.
Yeah, that'll slow down. It says the word appears in English as intrekin, entangle, ensnare, involve, in perplexity, embarrassed, late 14th century, from Old French intriquer, or directly from the Latin verb related intrigue, intriguer, intriguing, Dutch intrigue, intriguing.
You gotta have Unc come read that for you.
Yeah. German intrigue, urine from or from French. So like, yeah, you got it.
This is intrigue off of just typing it in on Google. This is the AI overview. It says that intrigue can refer both to a secret plotting or scheming to deceive or harm, or the quality of arousing strong interest or curiosity. All right.
Hey, this American dream ain't nothing but an illusion. It intrigued the nations.
It's a plot. It's a scheme.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey,
for harm though.
yeah, but
right?
yeah, I was gonna say Revelation. It talk about in the souls of men.
Yeah.
You know, people's souls get corrupted when they come to America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in whatever facet, you know, people's souls just you can come from Myanmar because of earthquake, come to America and or better yet, like we read in at camp, dealing with Asia. The daughters, the Esau always wanted to fornicate with the daughters of the east of Asia. Woe unto thee, Asia, 2nd Ezra 15. You know, so they come here to Babylon and they just their souls get corrupted. Even when, you know, the heathens, their souls is already corrupted, but even worse than, you know, what it was in their homeland. You know, they come here and get even more bugged out. You know, but it's a snare, it's a trap. You know, it's like.
You know what's crazy is it says international intrigues,
Mm-hmm.
and we had fucking Bibi Netanyahu sitting there with Trump
Right.
in one of their schemes.
Right.
Hey, the Riviera of the Middle East.
Right.
You
Right.
know, Trump Gaza. That's an
Yeah.
intrigue.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a straight intrigue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just that the whole way of Esau Edom is a snare and a net, like a woman.
Yeah.
You know. Hey, did you want
Yeah,
that Revelation 18?
Yeah, you can bring it up.
Okay. I'm gonna have to
You can
start
just-
up a little bit
okay.
because where it starts off at verse 13 ties to 12, and just starting at verse 13, it's kind of, you'll have to explain backstory anyway. So I'm gonna start up.
Well, y'all brothers, y'all can bring it down.
All right, I'm gonna start up at verse 10. I'm gonna read through. I'm just gonna read through. If a brother starts saying something, I'll stop. All right, this is Revelation chapter 18, verse 10 in KJV. It says, standing afar off. I'm gonna start at verse 9. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
And that her is dealing with America, aka Babylon the Great, right? Who is soon to be destroyed.
Yep.
And those nations that have lived deliciously is everybody who's made money off the backs of Judah,
Hey, case in
Benjamin
point.
and Levi.
Case in point, these countries that's bugging out right now over the tariffs.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
This is what we're reading.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, and this going back to what we started with. Second Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
9.
Yep.
Measure the time diligently. Like these what's happening with the tariffs is gonna, it correlates with what we're reading in Revelation 18, man.
Yep.
You know, these nations trafficking goods over here via airplane, train, or automobile. You know what I'm saying? Trafficking goods over here. That's all gonna come to a screeching halt, man. You know? That's gonna come to a screeching halt.
That's right.
Trump's big deal is, all you countries are making money over here in America, but we ain't making no money in y'all countries.
Yeah.
That's his whole gripe. Sitting
Yeah.
there listening to him talk with Netanyahu
Yeah.
and his council. His whole big gripe is, we import a lot of Japanese. We don't export any cars
Don't
over
let us
there.
sell nothing.
Right.
And so
Which
he
is a
wants
complete
to,
lie.
in the lower, he wants Japanese companies to come to America and create their business that they're doing over there
In Japan.
Yeah.
Which don't make any sense because look, like I think 90% of clothes are made overseas, right?
Right.
So you want that to come to America, and you bring that to America, you're not gonna pay American pennies on the dollar to make no shirt.
Right.
And then not only that, if that was to happen, you're gonna have American companies raise their prices because they got competition in them.
Right.
So it's just a disaster.
And the prices would raise anyway if they got to start. Americans have to have benefits when they work. They have to be covered by
Health insurance.
benefits, health insurance, dental. You know what I'm saying? Vision insurance. You know what I'm saying? This and
Vacation
that.
days.
You gotta have vacation days. You gotta have FMLA leave and all this type of shit, man. The pregnancy leave or whatever. You gotta have all that type of shit going on with American companies. So if you gotta pay all that to the employees who's making these products, that by itself is gonna make that product skyrocket to cover that cost.
Yeah, that's why most people can't get a full-time job right now. They
Right.
got like 3 or 4 part-time jobs.
That's it. Yep.
Because the companies don't want to pay for their
benefits.
Their benefits.
Because full time you got to pay benefits. If
Yeah.
they're working 40 hours a week, you have to pay them benefits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If they're under that though, part time, what's the part time? 34 or something.
It depends on what state you're in.
Right. They don't have to. If it's under if it's under 40, they don't have to pay the benefits.
Right.
But if it's 40 or above, they have to pay the benefits, man. And that benefit package that costs those companies a lot.
Yeah.
You know, per employee. You know,
And that's cutting into their profits.
right.
You know, Esau ain't gonna let that
Nah,
happen.
because anything that's above the profit, they get as a pay. They get as a bonus. The shareholders get it and all that type of shit. And they ain't switching. That's their whole program. That's how they eat. They stay fat.
Yeah.
They ain't giving that up. You know, that's why they're going on. That's why there's a big strike on automation and all of that type of shit. People don't want their job to lose their job to the robot.
Right.
But the robot is going to be a more cost-effective thing for that company. And they're only thinking about profits. They're not thinking about you as that worker. You know? So, hey, challenging times coming to America.
Hey, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
When we get a chance, I want to read that. If a brother can pull up the screenshots I have sent to the chat.
Oh, no.
about
Okay,
the
yep.
Trade deficit. But in a minute, we'll get to that.
You'll have to show us which ones are, because I don't think they came through in the order of what you was looking at them.
Yeah.
They came, you know what I'm saying? One came probably three behind the other one type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm still holding this Revelation 18.
At one point, I wanted to point out on that Revelation 18. Are we moving back to that yet?
Yeah, we're still going.
Okay. How it says, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, and that's one of the most beautiful prophecies that's left to be fulfilled, is the scorching and the fervent melting of Babylon.
Yep.
And this is a future prophecy. They're gonna be wailed and they're gonna mourn because they made so much money off of the backs of Israelites, man.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Sal, was you about to say something?
No.
Okay. Clock.
No.
Making eye contact.
well,
No, if you ain't making eye contact, I'll leave you be.
Speaking on that
He don't
hour,
want to smoke.
speaking on that hour, dude, I want some smoke. Hey, speaking of that, the short in the hour, think about an hour,
Yeah.
that's, we've been sitting here about, an hour, and all of Babylon, 5 million square miles,
Yeah.
5,000.
5,000 square miles of Babylon being burnt to a crisp in just an hour.
In a single hour, that's right.
You know?
That's right. In 1 hour, right?
And you know, Putin has talked about that. I can destroy you in 1 hour. You know, and that's what the Lord is going to use Putin and these other nations to come against Babylon.
He was like, fuck it, man.
Yeah, and
In an hour's time, it'll be over. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Could you imagine that? You got the power to just like that country there. In an hour, they're gonna be gone.
They're
they're
gone.
going to have all of this accumulated, all of this wealth and all of this dainties and just from coast to coast,
Mm-hmm.
gone,
Gone.
just
Nah.
like that.
Gone.
Not nothing left. You know, no red, white, and blue nowhere. You know what I'm saying? As far as the stripes and the little, you know what I'm saying? You know how they got that
Just
bullshit
red.
everywhere. They got the American flag is plastered everywhere, man.
But shit, in Mexico too.
And
From the Gulf of Mexico.
around the whole Gulf, right?
Gulf of
But
America.
for real though, they put that flag on all the buildings out here. It's fucking everywhere.
Shit, when
man.
we went to Texas,
Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah.
American
Oh,
flag
man.
everywhere,
Flag.
man.
That and
Texas flag and
Baphomet
Baphomet
Texas
stars.
flag.
Because it's like you'll forget. Oh, what country am I in? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm in America.
Yeah.
Whoa. You ain't gonna forget you in fucking
Yeah,
America,
well, if you didn't
man.
know about this bullshit food, yeah,
Right.
you're in America.
Or the stank in the air.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or these fat ass women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. These
Bug out
fucking
people with
degenerates.
bum
Yeah,
colored
You
hair.
know?
Yeah.
It was a bum outside of my apartment fixing his car. He was sleeping in it, but he bent over. This
Yeah,
man had a
right.
big ass star tattoo on his back.
Oh man,
I'm talking about a big one. It wasn't small. I was like, what the fuck?
crazy. Yeah, the transplant.
Man. Big ass
Big
transplant.
ass stars.
The transplant.
I was like, what the fuck did I just walk out to?
This is weird shit.
That's this place. That's America, man. But ain't gonna be none of that. In a single hour, that's all gone. That's a snap of the finger, man.
Hey,
You know?
The elements shall burn with fervent heat.
That's
That's
right.
a nap.
That's right. That's a nap.
Could you imagine?
That's lunch break.
You napping it, then you in the spirit world like, what the fuck?
Right. Shawty, what happened?
Show me what happened.
You know,
Taking a
you
nap.
can't even go fishing in an hour and actually catch a fish. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't even. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like for real, like when you actually cook food, chopping up the vegetables, all that type of
That's
stuff.
prep work.
That takes more than an hour, bro.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an hour is no time.
Mm.
Unless you sitting there waiting for something, then the hours take forever. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you would understand this. Hey, you got a whole shift for somebody who just come in and prep everything.
Mhm.
A whole shift.
Oh, shit.
So it take you that long to chop some shit up, but it's only gonna take 1 hour to burn this place.
Oh, yeah. Think
That's
of all
the
the
Lord's work, man.
time they've spent manufacturing these weapons, building these, collecting them. You know, the design of them, all of that type of shit, testing them, all of that, all the many years that's gone into all that firepower that's gonna come and rain down here in America.
And
You know?
they were saying, to your point, how you said that Trump wants to get these Asian companies and other nations to have their companies set up shop here in America. They were saying America don't even got the infrastructure for that shit. So the result that Trump thinks he's about to receive from imposing these tariffs, that would take 5 to 10 years to even see a profit from those tariffs, because the infrastructure for those businesses and companies isn't even here in America. So you got to build these factories. You know what I'm saying? You got to train people up to fucking operate in these factories.
Right.
So they're scheming and conniving. You know, the Trump administration. And what you said? What?
Intriguing.
Yeah, they're intriguing people. You know, into believing that this fairy tale is gonna, hey, the golden age of America is back.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Hey,
no, it's not.
America, no,
It's not.
Hey, America got a lot of warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of warehouses all over the place. Not a lot of factories.
Mhm.
Got a lot of places to store shit that got shipped here.
But
Not a lot of places
to manufacture.
to make it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
You was gonna grab something real quick?
manufacture.
Oh, you just gonna look up the word?
Manufacture. from Edom Online, manufacturer, now 1560s, something made by hand. All right, so why we got all these robots?
Right.
From French manufacture,
It is.
16th century.
No, I'm joking.
From medieval Latin manufacturer, and making by hand. Okay. Manus means hand,
Right.
plus factura means a working hand, to perform. All right. So America, people don't make nothing. America doesn't produce anything, which is why you gotta. The reason why he even wants to impose a tariff lets you know that America doesn't make anything.
Right.
Because once again, going back to that trade deficit, America is importing more things that's made by hand or robot from other countries. You know, the brother was talking about clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
To some degree, clothes still got to be made by hand.
Right.
You know, but America is not manufacturing anything, shit made by hand, and shipping it to other countries to make a profit.
Right.
You know, so because these other countries got the game from America and did their thing, ran up a check, you know what I'm saying, got a bag. Now America's mad, like, hold on. Ain't like when somebody do your move on you.
Right.
You playing a game or playing basketball, a certain move you usually do. You know what I'm saying? And they hit you with it. You pissed.
You a little mad. You a little upset. You motherfucker. Yeah, man.
Hey, now you got to dig in that bag, or you know, in your mind to be like, damn, who defended me when I be doing this move, so that I can defend this nigga, because he can't be making me look stupid with my own fucking move.
But then you expose the weakness of the move. You
Man,
know what I'm saying?
Hey, you can't scheme if you doing that.
Can't be scheming.
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of these countries, they don't want American-made products.
Because they ain't worth nothing.
Because did I say countries or companies?
No,
Country.
Okay, yeah, a lot of these countries don't want American-made products. The products that they make for their people is of a better quality. It's not polluting, right? It's not destructive onto their body. You know what I'm saying? It's better for them and their people. They don't want American. Europe has a lot of narrow streets. They don't want big ass American cars in those narrow streets. It ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? They don't want McDonald's. They come up with they will bring the name McDonald's there, and they come up with a whole different menu.
It ain't got none of them killing ass.
Ain't none of what you know American McDonald's. It might as well just be a different company or restaurant.
And not to mention, like, nobody. First of all, you got rid of the Mexicans, anybody that's illegal, right?
Right.
Jake ain't finna get in no warehouse and make no shirt.
Right.
Shit,
Ain't no Edomites getting in the warehouse and making no shirts.
Right.
Who the fuck gonna do that?
Right.
Who's gonna do it?
Who gonna pick the oranges?
Who gonna do that?
Right. Who picking oranges?
Who getting the
Oh,
strawberries?
when I say Jake, I mean Judah. Judah ain't gonna get in no damn warehouse and make no shirts.
No,
You
damn
know?
way.
Oh, fuck a shirt up.
No, nobody ain't gonna do that
The
here.
only one that's gonna do it is Dapper Dan
Hey, cause
out in Harlem.
they do them shits in sweatshops, man.
Yeah.
Them boots.
Serious sweatshop.
Like they
They
it's like, yeah, bro, I know this your page, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah, no, I
straight to
understand.
the shit, but
Why don't you-
probably something you say all the time on your own page. Hey, but they don't get breaks.
Yeah.
You don't get no water break. Water,
Oh,
brother,
they-
you got all these shirts you gotta make.
I seen something in the news about overseas a couple years ago. They was complaining that them niggas they don't get bathroom breaks. They be pissing on themselves and shit just to make quota. Like, that's crazy. Jake ain't about to go through that. Them days is over.
Going to Egypt.
Oh yeah,
We already did this shit for y'all. nigga. Your turn.
our
They was trying
punishment
to
is
do that.
accomplished.
Hey, Jackass is it's an 8-hour day and they made 9 shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like Jackass ain't doing shit.
One over 40.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm gonna do the bare minimum.
Quarter's like 170 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? They made 9
shirt.
Hey, but at least
Hey,
you can say you did at least 1 hour.
Right,
You know what I'm
feeling
saying?
good though because they got 9. You know,
Yeah,
yesterday was only 8.
No, I didn't get no pictures, man.
Yeah. Hey, like Jake picking that cotton. Shit. Hey, but let's get into these scriptures.
Okay,
Oh,
so like
18,
we're in
Revelation.
Revelation 18.
Okay.
Starting at verse 10, yep. Revelation chapter 18, verse 10. Go back at 9. All right, it says, Revelation chapter 18, verse 9, it says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning."
Right, and I'm gonna let y'all brothers have it, but when it mentions them lamenting and bewailing her, it's because of the profit, the profit that these nations was able to generate. It's not because they love this place so much, you know, even though some of them got family members here and whatnot, but it's because that the cash cow's gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You think of people. You think of like a bartender, and then like somebody who always comes into the bar. They always come in. They're obnoxious as hell. The bartender hates that person, but they gonna continue serving them drinks because they always come in and bring money. You know what I'm saying? They're good for business, even though they don't. Yeah, they're good for business, even though they don't actually like them. That's how the other countries is with America. Like America's this obnoxious. They hate tourists. But they love that tourists spend a lot of money while they're there.
Hey,
you see what I'm saying?
To your point, I was watching I think it was Sky News over in the UK, and there were two different situations. There was one, Japan. It was some mountain that had snow, and you had two Australian couple, which are they're Edomites, that they weren't going by the rules. There's certain rules, like, okay, when you're snowing or when you're skiing or snowboarding, you got to follow this path and wait in line. And they didn't do that, so the goop got on their head. You know what I'm saying? So that's just an example of how Edomites, in particular, we're talking about Esau here in Babylon, but Edomite is Edomite. So that's, you know, an example of how tourists don't like Edomites, in particular Americans. But to the point of the American tourists, you had over in the UK. There was two Edomites from America that was trying to get out of paying a toll or something like that for a road or something. Man, this Edomite caught these two another Edomite from the UK caught these other two Edomites from America. He had a skinny ass stick, and he was beating the shit out of him, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you ain't coming over here to the UK doing that American shit. You gonna pay the damn toll,
just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Or you gonna get your ass beat by this skinny ass stick.
By this old head.
Hey, they London and whatnot, they use batons. They're skilled with them shits. They know how to smack your ass up with a goddamn baton.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't carry guns.
Because they don't carry guns.
Yeah. One thing I was picturing when you're talking about that unruly drunk bastard that's always coming in, aka America, is that bitch that was climbing the pyramid in Mexico. And bitch, get the fuck down.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like that's the type of that's Esau. He'll just kick his feet up anywhere he wants to.
And all of those scenarios, that's what America embodies as a country, and that's how the rest of the world looks at it. Like, man, fuck, man, here come these motherfuckers, man. All that, we're number one, we're better than you. We got our nose up. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes people that's like that, man. You know, and that's what that's how this whole country, the vibration of this country is. So all the other countries of the world. They don't really fuck with this place, but they know that they can. This even though this dude's an obnoxious, self-righteous idiot, he spends a lot of money.
A lot of
he'll
people
buy all our shit.
A lot of people come here for opportunities. You know, because America, there are for foreigners. There's opportunities for foreigners here in America. You know what I'm saying? Which is why a lot of them actually come here. But it's not for. Because it's the best place on earth. It's because of the opportunities, and you can use this to level up. You know?
You can make money here and send it back to your family or wherever they at.
Yeah.
They'll be well off.
They'll be well off.
That's pretty much it.
Hey, it says it the line before they lived deliciously with her. They was all getting rich off this one.
Yep.
You got to.
It says, standing afar off
Verse
for the
10.
fear. Verse 10. I'm sorry, Slakia. Revelation 18:10. Standing afar off. For fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth her merchandise anymore.
Yeah, you can't make no money off a place that don't exist no more.
Right.
It's burning in thermonuclear fire.
The merchandise of gold and silver.
What merchandise?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You
What
know,
merchandise?
manufacturer.
And you have no merchandise.
Well, you
But
know,
that's-
it,
no,
it,
this-
it,
this
does
what
got
says-
it does got some merchandise.
No, well, let's read.
Because it's in the
11.
scriptures. You
Let's-
know?
Let's read 11 again.
Yeah.
All right. It says, "And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore."
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I
it's not the
remember.
merchandise
Yeah,
of
because
America; it's the
it's
merchandise of these other countries.
Yeah.
All right.
And that goes
We've
to
already
the point.
established that
Yeah.
America don't make merchandise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That goes to the point of what we had said earlier. They're gonna weep in the world because they ain't making no money.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, the end of ain't going on shopping sprees.
Mhm.
You know, hey, when you look up the biggest consumer in the world, it's our women.
And they broke as hell.
Broke as a motherfucker. The minute they get $1, they gotta spend that motherfucker.
I think I was just watching a video. It was either yesterday or earlier this morning. I forget. I believe it was Apostle Gabar, Elder Apostle Gabar, if I'm not mistaken. But he looked up how long or what the net worth of the black woman is, and it was $5.
$5. Hey, remember Trump earlier? He said he was talking about how somebody was the whole Doge. They cracking down on these little organizations and shit like that. But he was saying that there was somebody that was mismanaging the $2 million, but her actual bank account, he said, had $1 in it.
Yeah, something.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah. But he was just talking.
Oh man,
That's like when I first came down and sat down. Too.
yeah.
Yep. I remember
That's
hearing
very
him
funny.
say that. As he was just spewing forth nonsense. It says, this is verse 12. It says, "The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen."
And he let off of gold and silver.
You said what?
They let off of gold and silver, and that's what a lot of people was trying to get into right now. And
Yeah.
matter of fact, gold went over 3,200. You know,
Crazy.
the first time.
Crazy. And he said precious stones. We be going to the gym shows,
Yeah.
so we know that they actually are getting these stones from other countries. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, oh, we found this in Arkansas. There may be like 1 or 2 stones that is found here in America, but majority of the stone, those precious gems, elsewhere.
Yeah. Laborite comes from Finland, I believe.
Where did that K2 come from?
I was just thinking,
It's a mountain.
I was just in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Either Afghanistan or Kazakhstan or something like that. No, I think it's Afghanistan.
Somewhere else.
Yep.
Yep.
Right.
That's funny. That's the spirit. Because I was literally thinking K2.
Yep. Larimar is, is more on this side, but what's the one I'm thinking of? You can only find it in a certain area. Charoite from Russia. You can only find it in Russia. It's a beautiful purple, brown, and white and black stone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pakistan.
Pakistan.
That's right.
K2 stone, also known as K2 granite or K2 jasper, is a unique stone found in the Koram region, specifically near K2, the second highest mountain in the world in Pakistan.
Wow. So yeah, hey, the scriptures reign true again.
Yeah.
All right. It's because it's telling you that these are the things that get sold here in America. You know, merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen. I know that there's some Italian silks and shit that people, the fashion world goes crazy over.
Egyptian cotton.
Egyptian cotton.
Yeah.
Yep. It says in purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manners of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and of iron and of marble.
And a lot of this stuff goes into construction.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Especially that wood.
Yep.
The wood and the like marble, all that type of stuff. I know there's a building.
Countertops and all that.
There's a building that I was working in downtown Seattle that the whole the floor inside the lobby, the entire floor was marble and going up the walls. It had real high walls, like maybe 20-foot high walls before the ceiling was there in the lobby. and all the way up the wall, everything that encased around the elevator, it was all marble. We had to be like very, very careful with moving in, you know, heavy equipment, all that type of stuff. You had to protect the floor. You had to be real careful around those walls. And then, you know, we had to cut into some of the marble on the walls for new fixtures and whatnot and stuff. And you had to be precise. You had to be very precise. You can't ain't no you know it like directly to the measurement. It can't be like, you know,
a steady hand,
straight cuts, all that type of shit. You know, I wasn't the cutter.
Yeah.
Nah, don't rely on me with that type of shit. Y'all care about this.
Hey,
Y'all
you
do
would've
this. Don't.
Hey, let's stop a cut. Hey,
Glasses.
the spirit would have took over. You'd have been
No
etching
glasses.
Hebrew in there.
Hey,
The name of the Lord.
on the other side of in the hoistway, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there because I used to tag them walls up. Well, I didn't tag them. Look, we ain't graffiti or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But I used to, you know, take my little Sharpie and write a little curse.
Yeah,
curse
how about
Babylon.
y'all shot was here?
Yeah. Let it be known.
Yeah, I used to do that too.
Yeah, I used to do that too.
Like little stuff at like, you know, go to a little park.
Yeah.
And it got dust all this
Yeah.
right, you know.
Right, the
right over
name,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Hey, I remember I went to a bar when I first came in the truth. I was with the old camp head, and it was I forget if another brother was with us. I think he was, but they had in the bathroom. You got where you piss at, and then when you go wash your hands or whatnot, they had a chalkboard, big ass chalkboard. You know, with chalk and motherfuckers writing shit. And I was like, Yahweh Shem Shai was here. You know what I'm saying? Who gets mad?
You already know.
Yeah, he gets mad. You should really be doing that. And I'm like, what? All right. Anyways, I digress.
Whatever. All right. So it says, this is verse 13. It says, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oils, and fine flour. Hey, that frankincense be coming from Israel. The frankincense and myrrh, the real good scent to it. You know, the fine oil. You know, it says, and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and this is the point, souls of men.
Yeah. Hey, frankincense, also known as oily bonum, comes from the resin of trees in the Boswellia genus, particularly Boswellia sacra and Boswellia carteri, which are native to the Arabian Peninsula, Oman, and Yemen, and Somalia.
Wow.
Man, that's crazy because the Horn of Africa is right by Oman and Yemen. You know what I'm saying? Remember we was going into the Strait of
yeah, when they was attacking, when the what do you call them? What did he call them? The honey badgers of the Middle East, right? Yeah. When they was attacking the ships.
Yeah.
We was looking into all of that. I remember we was going in depth with looking into all of that at that time.
Real quick.
As one of the examples of one of the times we was going into that.
Yeah, because you got just, you know, for edification's sake, trying to pull the map up, because it's down there by the Red Sea, you know, before it opens up into whatever ocean that is down there.
The Indian Ocean, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, it is
I believe.
Gulf of Aden,
Gulf of Aden.
because you got Yemen and Oman,
Yeah.
and then it mentioned
Somalia.
Somalia. So yeah, that's crazy that this region here, because this is all Somalia right here too.
Yeah.
So it probably comes from the north of Somalia.
Wow.
Well, shoot, they used to
You
be
said-
connected.
Yeah,
You said from what region was it?
from
when you was
Oman,
reading?
Yemen, and Somalia. But Somalia, this is all Somalia right here, but this is north. So being that it probably comes from this region of Somalia, you know, being that these two regions have
Right.
you know. But Salakia, y'all brothers couldn't see the map. But yeah, just so when you get a chance, just look at Yemen, Oman, and Somalia. You know, it's by the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden in the Middle East for edification. You know. We're going back to Revelation.
I mean, that was the point for Revelation of
Okay.
why we got it. Let me read this real quick, though.
Yeah.
I just want to jump down to verse 17. All right, for Kalak, a point that Kalak had made. It says, "For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city?" The point being that in 1 hour, this place is finito. It's done. It's over.
Experience is over.
That's right. All right. What was we in? Second Ezra?
Yeah, going back to Second Ezra 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, I'm gonna read 2 again. It says, "You will know that," and this is in the GNT.
Yep, in the GNT.
It says, "You will know that the time has come when the Most High, when God Most High will
God
bring
Most High. That's crazy.
will bring judgment on the world He has created."
It's usually worded Most High God.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. It says there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, all right, schemes, and so on and so forth, unstable leaders.
Wow.
You look at how often you got Trudeau in up in Canada. They just got rid of his ass. Germany, they their situation's jacked up as far as having a prime minister. You know, I think they got a acting prime minister until they actually hold elections later on this year. France, there's a female rival to Macron. What happened there? Macron. There's a female rival to him that they just got on corruption charges, but she's trying to say that the corruption charges aren't valid. They just trying to make it to where she can't run for president or whatever. So the leaders is just changing like the seasons, you know, in the world currently.
Yeah.
All right. It says unstable leaders.
Because you got the leader of Canada stepping down.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Oh, okay. It's like it.
Shit, unstable leaders. I mean, think of the actor over there in Ukraine.
Oh yeah.
Zelensky.
Man, he
Yeah,
been crashing out
Fruitcake.
Yeah.
since that deal, man. Crashing the fuck out. He killed that minerals deal. He
Tripping.
tripping.
It says and confused rulers.
And confused rulers,
Hey,
man.
Donald Trump is confused.
And not only that, Syria. Remember how the guy fled down to Russia, right?
Al-Assad.
He
He
fled
went
to Russia.
To Russia, yeah.
Yep.
Turkey's in uproar.
Erdogan.
Yeah.
They had they jailed one of his rivals, a mayor. They jailed him, and there's protests in Turkey for now it's going on probably like 3 weeks.
Wow.
You know.
So you got protests popping off all over the place, man.
Yeah.
About all kind of
About all
nationwide,
kinds of-
national, international.
I mean,
There's just a whole bunch of people that are disgruntled with the world.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the main thing that people in America is talking about.
Because I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
Because you see China, Russia, they had uproars there too, always. You know, and America is the last one to be like, you know, because they just been they dumb. They dumbed down.
The juice is wearing off.
Yeah.
They dumbed down, so they starting to like, oh shit, like we're in a corrupt state. We're in a corrupt mind. Like this is not what I wanted.
They started drinking the Mountain Dew that was in shape, skinny. They took a nap on the couch and woke up obese.
Hey, that fat dude, who drank all my Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
You remember that guy?
Yeah.
My Mountain Dew.
Let me smell your breath. Your Mountain Dew drinking
Mother
soda.
bitch.
They woke up from the damn dream.
Right.
And it's like, oh damn, what? Oh man! And now they're trying to get to it with all these protests, but that ain't gonna do nothing but force Esau to crack down on people.
They got the wrong one in the White House to care about protests and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No
Whoever's
Jake
calling
should
about
be out
that.
there protesting
Nah.
at all.
Nah. As an Israelite,
You should not.
as an Israelite, this ain't your fight, man. All
not
right.
your
Our what we hope to happen in the earth is for this place. To
And it's
actually
one.
go down.
It was just 144 on the count.
Hey, call all you about Shema Shabbat Shabbat. What we hope is for this place to actually go down. We ain't hoping for this place to just
Keep afloat.
to keep afloat, to just keep on putting patches and band-aids on
Yeah,
shit.
that's
Another,
I was thinking.
some more
so,
quantitative easy.
I was
Right.
thinking about it, it's like with the stock market. It's like, you know, I hope it's stay red.
Yeah.
We don't want to see that shit back up green
Right,
and all
right.
of that. Then it look, you know, just another.
Stimulated.
You know, really, it's like we know it's all bullshit, but at the same time, it's like, man, I don't want to see that. I want to see these people stay hurt, man.
Yeah, stay hurt.
Stay hurt, man.
This place has to crumble.
You know why? Because hurt people hurt people. it's gonna be dog eat dog out there, boy. People gonna be killing each other, breaking their houses.
Yep.
Hey, wax cold.
Wax cold, yeah.
Yep. The love of
The
many
love
shall
of
wax
many,
cold.
is going to continue to wax colder and colder.
That's it.
It's frigid.
That's it.
Brick.
Yeah.
That heart is brick.
Hey, what old dude Nate Jackson told the old boy that got stabbed in the heart by his girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
He was like, "You have no heart. Your heart is."
Your heart is, yeah.
It's like it's alright. Go ahead though. Well, actually,
You was reading.
I was reading.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking in third person.
Verse 3.
Verse 4.
Oh, verse 4. Yeah, verse 4.
I'm gonna read the last part of verse 3. It says, "When you see these things happening," it says, "You will know that they are what God Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation."
Right, and the reason it's been spoken about since the beginning of creation is because the whole timeline was spoken first before anything actually started happening. All right, everything is happening the exact way the Heavenly Father wanted it to happen. You know, from the smallest detail to the biggest grandiosest detail, everything is happening exactly how the Heavenly Father wants it to happen. All right, and just as you have some that are predestined from the beginning of the earth, well, you had this place Babylon that was destined to come upon the earth, take control over the earth using its henchmen in NATO and the EU, and then also to ultimately end up getting destroyed by those same henchmen. All right, along with other actors that has power within the earth.
Hey, yeah, that's going into intrigues, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, scheming and all that. You know, all these nations doing that. But, you know, the damn Russia and America doing all that spying shit back in the days.
Mhm.
You know, but it just over time it just got more sophisticated.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. So now they got sleeper cells and you know what I'm saying.
double
Everybody-
agents and crazy
double,
shit.
triple agents. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Them flip 4 or 5 times.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? They got people inside the White House. Russia got people inside the White House.
Hey, that nigga that leaked the war plans.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Hexef, right?
Yeah,
It was
yep.
Hexef?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That fucking the dude we was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And then Russia, America got people inside the Kremlin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Israel got people everywhere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, cause that Mossad, that ain't no joke. You know,
Yeah.
them niggas is for real.
Yeah.
You know,
Rats.
But yeah, man. There's a timeline. The Bible has a timeline that's associated with it, man. All the way from the beginning, the creation, going all the way through to the kingdom of heaven being established here upon the
In
earth.
eternity, really.
Which will be the beginning point for the rest of eternity in righteousness.
Yeah.
Okay, so that whole timeline, you got to know where it is that you fit in on that timeline, and where we fit in is right before the end of wickedness, which Jacob or Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, and the end of wickedness and the beginning of that eternity that we were just speaking on. You know.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. It says the beginning and the end of everything that happens in this world are clear.
And it is clear. Why is it clear? Because it's written for us right here within the scriptures. The Lord already made it known unto us. It's not like it's going to happen unto us in the secret. We're not in the dark, right? It's high time to wake out of sleep. For now is thy salvation nearer than when you believe. We
Gross
quoted that
darkness
earlier.
shall cover the people too.
You said what?
Gross darkness shall
Gross
cover
darkness
the
shall
people.
cover the people. We're not the ones that's in the dark. All right, we've been enlightened by the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah. That's why you gotta that's why you gotta actually hold on to this precious gift. You got a lot of people that's just taking this thing for granted, putting fringes on their t-shirt and think that that's as far as it goes, you know. But nah, it gets a lot more deeper than that, man. Okay. So it says like as all that's made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
Yep.
And the end is being manifest. Go ahead, bro.
Yep. It says the same is true in the world above.
In the heavens.
Yep. Wonders and miracles show the beginning of events during the Passover, Pesach. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the celestial event that took place.
You had planet parades going on. You had a lunar and a solar
Did
eclipse.
y'all see the one with the little like devil horns coming out of it?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'll find it. But it was a eclipse. It was part of the eclipse, and it looked like devil horns were coming
Damn.
out of from when the sun was rising.
Damn.
Well, hey, that evil time, man.
Well, it says the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Go ahead, bro.
And mighty signs show when they end.
Yep. Mighty signs show when they end, man.
It says some people will escape destruction and be saved by their good works or by their faith, all of them.
And we hope to be of those people, the ones that are able to escape by our good works and by our faith, man. Okay, that's why we do everything that we do, is in hopes that we will be of those people that get to escape the destruction that's coming, man. Because it's gonna be terrible, you know. Go ahead, bro.
It says
All of them
will survive the dangers I have described and will enjoy Jacob's trouble.
Yep.
And will enjoy the salvation provided in the land that I have set apart from eternity as my own.
You see that? So that's how the story goes, man. You know, that's how the movie ends, so to speak, right?
Yeah, like you said, the end of, you know, Esau's rulership, you know, is the beginning of eternity, which eternity deals expressly with the Israelites in rulership. With Jerusalem, you know, the land of Israel, Jerusalem being the headquarters.
Yep.
That's the land that is set apart for eternity as the Heavenly Father's own.
Yep.
You know?
And a good point that you brought up as well, Kasai, was that Jacob's trouble, man. We can't just act like that's not about to happen.
Yeah.
That's not something to skip past.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob's trouble is about to be turmoil here upon the earth, man. You think people are freaking out now? Just wait, just wait till how does Nate say it? Not Nate Satan, Nate from Canadian Prepper.
When the shizzy hits the fizzy.
The proverbial shit hits the proverbial.
Yeah.
Or something like
when
that.
the shizzy hits the fizzy.
he's got a whole bunch of ways of how he says the shit hits the fan, you know. But when the shit hits the fan, hey, people, it ain't gonna be a game of who's an Israelite, who's not, who's serving the Lord and who's not. Because people are gonna be out. People are gonna be out to save themselves, man.
It's gonna be who are my chosen.
Yep.
That's when it's gonna be known who the chosen of the Lord.
Yep.
Verse 7 it says
You just read-
the last part of 7.
okay, the last part.
All of them.
Okay. No,
You
I
just
already
read 8.
Yeah,
Oh, you
verse
did, yeah.
9. It says, then those who have ignored my ways and held them in contempt will be surprised when they find themselves in continual torment.
Let's get the word contempt. Because you got a lot of people that held the ways of the Lord in contempt and is currently holding the ways of the Lord in contempt. Okay? What's it say?
It says, the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn.
Wow.
That's
Then
how
those-
they feel about us.
Yep. Then those who have ignored my ways and held them in contempt, held the ways of the Lord as if it was
There's no advantage to it.
as if it was nothing. And that's the vibration that America pushes forth. You know, as from on the entirety, the entire scale, that's the way that America pushes forth. That's why you have individuals walking around saying that they're women when they was born a man. All right, that's why you have individuals walking around saying, "Do as thou wilt." All right, that's why you got individuals walking around saying that we're wasting our time dealing with the scriptures and that the Bible don't mean nothing and that, you know, hey, get some money, nigga. That's why you got those individuals walking around because they held the ways of the Heavenly Father in contempt.
And a lot of them is Israelites. You know what I'm saying? of the circumcision.
They gonna get fucked up. They gonna get fucked up. Yeah, you got a lot of people that's wearing fringes on their t-shirt, and they ain't right at all, man.
Ain't right at all.
Smoking a cigarette.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Got fringes on their t-shirt though. You know, smoking a blunt.
You got on fringes on your t-shirt, but your t-shirt is spiritually inside out.
Right.
Hey, it's known that these dudes is open devil worshippers,
Mm.
but they're known to be the people of the Most High.
Mm. Yeah, you got
How does
Masons.
that make sense?
They angel they're Satan become an angel of light.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's them individuals. Verse 10 it says, this will include all those who ignored me while they were alive, even though they accepted the blessing I gave them.
Wow.
I will include all those who scorned my law during the time they were free to do so, and all those who refused to repent when they still had the chance.
They're gonna be included in the torment, all right, in the punishment, in the destruction. Okay.
It says the torment they will have to suffer after death will force them to recognize the truth. All right. Now we know as Israelites that any Jake that dies is gonna come back in the kingdom of shame.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oppression, affliction shall not rise a second time. We ain't going back into slavery. No, none of that. You know. But
And-
Jake that died on this side, hey, that's gonna be a torment to some degree in the kingdom. When you come back, or the 2/3 that come back, and they know like they had an opportunity, years worth of time to turn to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The Lord being that gracious, given ample time to turn to Him, but you didn't.
Right.
And the men and the heralds that were heralding the coming of Yahweh Shai in the kingdom of heaven, you thought they was insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
You thought they were hold up, let me get there real quick. You thought they were worthless, deserving scorn,
Right.
beneath consideration.
Right.
You know, that's gonna bring about some. It's gonna have your mind fucked up for a minute. You know, in the kingdom.
Right.
You know, but like the apostles say and the elders say, you know, over time, you know, it's all good, brother. It's all good, man.
That shame's really gonna come when the memorial of those men come about every so often too.
Yeah,
That's when the shame really gonna come. Is like, damn,
yeah,
I wasn't one of them.
yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hey, and that ain't talk about no magical hell place either, man.
Yeah.
All right, because we're in a time where Christians want to try to pick up the Bible again, and you guys just need to leave it alone. All right, because you guys are spreading forth all kind of madness. But I know that the apostles been getting on the Christians, the brothers of Dallas been getting on the Christians. You know what I'm saying? That ain't talking about no hell as far as the torment that they got to face after death. They ain't talking about going to hell and getting poked by a pitchfork or none of that crap, man. All right,
Mhm.
just gotta throw that disclaimer out there.
So speaking of uproars of the people, you see that Edomite devil that was brought out his AR-15 at the protest either today or yesterday?
No, I read the headline. I didn't actually. I
Man,
didn't see
so
a
this
video
man
of it.
gets into like Esau's bitch ass always want to pull a gun,
Mhm.
but he get into an altercation with the hands off niggas that are out there protesting, and he get out his truck, him and his stupid, ugly ass Edomite wife, and he rubs up on the people. They start getting in each other's face, and he gets in old boy's face, and old boy headbutts the nigga. So he goes, "Oh, really?" Goes back, grabs his fucking AR, and they shoot that nigga away when he
Yeah.
goes to his truck. He comes out with the AR-15, just fucking ready to go murder somebody.
It was a MAGA dude.
Yep.
Yep.
Fucking Magite. These fucking idiots.
A MAGA.
Maggot,
Uneducated, fucking retarded ass devil.
the leper's maggot.
I just found out that one of the ladies that work in the office there is a big Trump supporter. I don't ever talk to her because I think she's a witch. But
He might as well call niggas Magi's.
Magi.
Cause that's what that MAGA shit go back to.
Mhm.
Dark magic.
Go back to some to the witch. Some to the witch.
Some dark magic.
Yeah.
So that was it on
Yeah, that was pretty much it of the second
Second
Ezra, the 9th chapter.
brothers got precepts.
Yeah.
We can start wrapping it up. But I want to make sure we bring out this proverb.
Can I read just real quick before we jump into pre I looked at this for the hands off.
Can you pull
protest.
up the screenshots of the trade deficit? So go ahead.
This is off of Wikipedia for the hands off protest. Okay, it says hands off protests are a series
And
of
that's out here, right?
No.
Okay,
That's
worldwide?
nationwide. That's
Okay.
nationwide. Because that's what really sparked this. The idea for this sit down was that while we was at camp the day before yesterday, within the vicinity of where camp was, there was a sign that said "hands off," and brothers was curious as to what that was, right? And then we looked into it, and that's what kind of sparked the idea for this sit down all in itself. It says the hands off protests are a series of ongoing demonstrations launched across the United States on April 5th, 2025, in what is currently the largest one-day nationwide display of public resistance against the second administration of President Donald Trump. Organized under the Hands Off banner, demonstrations voicing opposition to the administration's policies occurred in over 1,400 locations across all 50 United States.
That's a lot, and it's all 50. That means all 50. That's a lot. That's a lot of people gathering together.
They want. I read an article too. They want 3.5% of the population of America, so roughly 11 million people to protest.
It says drawing up an estimated 3 million participants nationwide. So they fell a little short of their goal there.
Yeah.
It
That's
says-
like that's
Well,
like
they want the 11 million on the 19th.
Oh, because they're gonna
Yeah.
because it does say that it's an ongoing demonstration, right? It says this
building
one,
up.
the one was held on April 5th. That one got 3 million.
Hey, well,
okay?
shit.
Estimate of 3
The
million.
amount of people that was, if it was what 3%, they said that was out. That's like the percentage of Gadites in America. You know what I'm saying? Gadites is like 2.3% of the population of America.
It's crazy.
And if you look at it like that, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even though it's a 2.3 or 2-3% is small in comparison to 100%,
Right.
or even 11.
But there's I think there's 350 million people
Yeah.
in America. Rough estimate.
It was 333.
333 million people. Okay. It says according to coordinators, the protest involved a coalition of over 150 progressive labor unions.
2.9% of Native Americans, and it's even lower than that. It could be. It can fluctuate, give or take some, because you got a lot of people that don't go by being native but are native, and then you got a lot of Edomites and heathens that Polynesian is claiming and getting that federal money, that native money, and they ain't even native. So that's the balance to that. It's like it, bro.
Oh, you good? Just finishing off this paragraph here. It says according to coordinators, the protest involved a coalition of over 150 progressive, labor union, pro-democracy, civil rights, libiquita, and women's rights groups. That's all I'm gonna read on that. I'm not gonna read more on that. So those are the hands off people. All right, people you expect, the people you expect to be there. But hey, people are upset with the rulership, man.
Yeah. Your brother want to read it? Proverbs 29.
I'll read it. This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
Yep. Hey, the world is mourning right now. You don't go out in the thousands or the hundreds of thousands or the 50 of thousands or the millions in a protest if you aren't mourning.
Right.
If you're unhappy with the current situation or conditions that you're living in, it's going to cause you to lash out. And that's what you're seeing worldwide, is because ain't nobody happy. Why? Because this is an ill time.
Yep.
Why? Because this is the end of an eon, of an era, and you about to see a new eon, a new era ushered in, and that's a painful thing, man.
Right.
You look at even just the ice ages that they talk about and all that pseudoscience, but they talk about how violent and how crazy that is. Well, this is exactly what it's going to be when Yahweh Bashem Yahushai turns this place upside down and gathers his elect and destroys his place.
That's right. Let me read this as well. This is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 12. It says, if a ruler hearkens to lies, all his servants are wicked. And we was talking about how Donald Trump was just lying through his teeth on that press conference. All right, him and Bibi Netanyahu. All right,
Maybe not a real Jew.
Bibi not a real Jew. Okay, this is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 16. It says, when the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall.
Yep. Hey, from a floor sea of glass mingled with fire.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be watching it from a bird's eye view, right? From the chariot, from the fathership, those that are of the elect and get to enjoy that, man. But they're gonna see the fall of their enemy, you know, and that's a big deal for Jake that's been here suffering. You know, the elect that's been here grinding week in and week out, chanting this place down.
Right.
Like this is a labor, and to get rest from that labor, that's gonna be a beautiful thing, man.
Yep.
But the big part of that is also the Lord's going to let you watch the destruction of the people that had you in chains, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful gift.
I got something for you. This is Daniel 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in kingdoms of men and giveth it to whomever he will, and setteth up the basis of men.
Yep.
You know, and going into these protesters and whatnot, these people don't understand that the Lord has set this up. You know, even though people are uproar and that's part of the prophecy,
Mm-hmm.
it's still supposed to happen this way. No matter how mad you get about it, who you want to take out of office, who you want to kill, it doesn't matter. The Lord set this up for, it's his movie.
Right.
You know, so we're playing our role in this movie. You're playing your role too while you're going out there protesting and whatnot, but the Lord set that up, you know.
And something that you said, it kind of reminded me of you had Jake Trippin, pretty much trying to condemn GMS, talking about y'all gonna manifest Jacob's trouble, and it's like
Duh.
don't you want Jacob's trouble to come on? Like you want it to just drag ass? You don't want it to manifest? You don't want Jacob's trouble to actually come upon the earth? We need to go through that so we can get the hell up out of here, man.
Yeah, it's like a workout. You know what I'm saying? Like before the workout, it's like, man, okay, it's leg day. We got all these different workouts. You know your leg's gonna be going through it, but it's like once it's done, there's results. You know what I'm saying? And you appreciate having gone through it. You know what I'm saying? So in the kingdom, we're gonna appreciate that Jacob's trouble is over with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna see the benefits of actually enduring that as a man of the Lord. You know.
I got two quick precepts real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 28, verse 12. It says, when the righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory, but when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. This one's likened onto it. This is Proverbs 28 and 28.
Yeah, hey, when the wicked rise, a man is hidden.
Mm-hmm.
You know. There was a time when we first came in where we was on YouTube, not just on the internet, right? But just if you went downtown, whatever city you in, you know what I'm saying? You can talk like a man. Man, fuck that. Or talk loud and use vulgar words. You know what I'm saying? You do that now, somebody gonna be looking to call the police on you just for talking in a manly voice.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Cussing your woman, cussing at your woman in public or something like that.
Toxic. That's toxic. Right
back when we first came to the truth, like that was normal to see a Jake cussing his woman out. Bitch, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever the case may be. But
at job,
yeah.
I got talked to twice about my language.
Wow.
About and it was some Edomite chick heard, and I get pulled into the office. Hey, you gotta watch what you say out there before you got women out there. It's like, what the fuck did I say?
Right.
But it's like you talking as a man with another man. You know? just bullshit, and somebody hear that shit, now you gotta, you know, you're jeopardy for losing your
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy. You know, now it ain't like that nowadays. Now you gotta be on the internet using PC words
Yeah, be PC on the
and all
internet.
that. But it said when the wicked are what?
It says when the righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked rise, a man is hidden.
Yeah. When the wicked rise, the man is hidden. You know, so there's ultimately gonna come a time when we ain't gonna be found on the internet like that.
Yep.
All right, we ain't gonna be going out on the highways and hedges pushing the word, because it's gonna be the time of Jacob's trouble. Is gonna be a famine of the word. You know, a brother had a martial law. His brother said a brother had posted was it an article? I believe it was an article on one of the chats, and it was going into how over in certain provinces, or not provinces, but I think a borough or something like that over in the UK, that they want to make street preaching pretty much a crime. You know, so you know when the wicked rise, and they're able to promote their laws, their unjust decrees, and all that, and that forces, you know, the men of the Lord to kind of be hidden, you know, and that's all. Like we said, that's all for the purpose of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is His movie, you know. When that time comes, hey, the Lord done playing with your people. He ain't playing with your people already, but you know He's gonna make it known that look, y'all, it's a great gulf between the Lord's chosen and the rest of the nation of Israel, for that matter.
Yep.
You know, the 2/3 and the Israelites, the men of the Lord, the elect, uproars is how we be of that number. Here in America, in particular, it's a great gulf between us. You know what I'm saying? And when the famine of the word comes, that's gonna be evident. You know, because hey, like the scripture said, they're gonna go to and fro, seeking the word of the Lord, and they ain't gonna find it. You know?
That's when they're gonna be wanting to be serious.
Yeah.
That's when they're gonna
Hey,
want to get serious.
what do they do? They scorn,
Right.
contempt.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. This is real quick. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 28, which the one I just read was 28 and 12. This is 28 and 28. It says, "When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase."
Mm-hmm. But when they perish, the righteous increase. You know. Was that the last one you had?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Let me read this real quick. This is Proverbs 11 in NLT. Proverbs 11 and 10. It says, "The whole city celebrates when the godly succeed. They shout for joy when the wicked die." And that's going to be in the kingdom of heaven. Because on this side, you know, all these people is wicked. When you leave out your front door, damn near everybody you come in contact with is a fucking demon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Big facts.
if the godly were to succeed in this kingdom, we'd be persecuted.
Right, yeah, that's what it's
You know what I'm saying? We'd be persecuted. So in the kingdom of heaven, the righteous the godly is gonna succeed, and guess who's gonna be dead and dying? The wicked.
Right.
They either gonna die of a nuclear blast, of famine, the animals
Yep.
having a feast.
Yep.
Because they talk about that in the scriptures.
The beast to tear.
Yeah, in Revelation, the
Yeah.
Lord preparing that feast for them, for the animals, that the fowl, the air, and so on and so forth.
Famine's coming.
Yep.
You know, the evil of men. All right, because people are gonna be fighting over stupid shit. Toilet paper.
Well, I'm talking about that.
You know.
But when we're actually set up in the kingdom,
Oh, you talking?
you're gonna have
Yeah.
the heathen, in particular Esau, being the wicked. They're gonna die of starvation, heat stroke,
Yeah.
heat stroke.
Getting crushed.
They're gonna die of heat stroke, heat stroke.
Wild beast.
I'm trying to drill the point in that they're gonna be slaves out there catching hell from the sun,
Right. Yeah. Hey,
catching heat stroke.
Esau ass gonna be in the sun, bro. Ain't no sunblock for you. Y'all ain't getting no sunglasses.
And they're gonna be out working. And you know the old people with dementia. That's how they go. That sun's just gonna bake all logic. All logic is gonna be fried out of their brain out there doing whatever they doing, and just that he's just gonna be tearing their ass up, man.
They gonna be out there, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. I ain't gonna Joe Biden. Out there
with
going
heat
through.
stroke.
Yeah, with his stroke.
Hey, skin clammy.
Yeah,
right?
Sweating like a pig.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
As a bar though, because pigs don't sweat.
We can get those screenshots.
Yeah, I got a couple more.
Oh,
verses
you got it.
real
Okay.
quick.
Okay.
It says the whole Proverbs 11 and 10. It says the whole city celebrates when the godly succeed. They shout for joy when the wicked die. So hey, just imagine, just like it says in Malachi, or not Malachi, excuse me, Obadiah. If a brother want to hold that.
Where'd you start at? Proverbs 11 and what?
11 in that was verse 10 right, verse 11 right there. That's in the NLT.
Okay.
But if a brother want to grab Obadiah, because the great bonfire we're gonna have.
Oh man,
You know,
it's gonna be fantastic.
So imagine
a party.
Imagine the rejoicing we're gonna have as Israelites as a nation, on that day when we light up all the Edomites. You know, that's gonna be great rejoicing. Why? Because the wicked is dead. You know, and by that time the heathens gonna have some act right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they gonna be
They gonna see what's about to happen to Esau.
yeah.
They about to see that fire, bro. They ain't gonna want no problems with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole nation's gone. You know, verse 11 in the NLT, Proverbs 11:11. It says, "Upright citizens are good for a city, and make it prosper." Okay, there's so much corruption in Babylon that this shit ain't prospering.
Right.
But the talk of the wicked tears it apart. It is a foolish. It is foolish to belittle one's neighbor. A sensible person keeps quiet. A gossip goes around telling secrets, but those who are trustworthy can keep a confidence. Here we go, right here, verse 14. Without wise leadership, a nation falls.
Yeah.
There is safety in having many advisors.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the point. So the leadership of America is not wise, man, and it's caused Donald Trump himself is causing this nation to fall, man. Okay, and there is safety in having advisors, but if your advisors, you know, it's just like you, as it says in the Apocrypha, what good is that gonna do?
Right.
You know, you got you had something, right?
I just had the screenshots.
What was that? Rehoboam took the advice of his
The young, the
men.
YNs. Yeah.
So I split.
Instead of the old heads,
Yeah.
he went with the YNs, the young bulls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that caused him to go down the path of destruction, pretty much.
But it's for prophecy's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he still did, and still that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got that Obadiah 17.
Okay. What'd you have, bro?
I'm
Okay.
good. I thought you said you were about
The
to
tariffs.
wrap up.
Let's read the tariffs.
Okay, the trade deficit.
The trade. You got something?
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
All right, this is Luke 21 and 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, the stress of nations with perplexity.
Look that word distress up, bro.
Yeah, and that word perplexity is going into confusion or unknown, things that are unknown. The sea and the waves.
Hey, like the
roaring.
brother was saying earlier, the people you know that looking at them stocks and shit, perplexed, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Not-
if all like Mike said when we was watching the Brighteon broadcast before we started, he was saying he don't got nothing in stocks in the stock market, you know, because that shit is volatile. Like, you know, you got money and shit all up in the stocks, that shit crashes. Hey, there goes the neighborhood, you know.
You gotta marginalize and pay them.
Yeah, crazy.
After all your shit go.
Yeah, bro. Like, fuck that.
the sea and the waves roaring.
Mm-hmm.
Right, all these nations is bucking up, man. You know, they tired of this shit.
Mhm.
Everybody tired of Esau's bitch ass, man.
They're tired of oppression.
Yeah.
Even though they all right, you're leaving the oppression of America, but the system you're implementing is oppression too. which is why the heathen just need to be beat and put to work, told what to do, you know, because they don't know what's good for them.
They gonna fall
Can
asleep.
you look that word up?
Distress.
You wanted that in the Adam?
Yeah, either way, man.
I got that up in the Adam. I'm not gonna read all the crazy pronunciations and shit. Distress is a noun from the late 13th century. Circumstances that cause anxiety or hardship. All right.
Hey, that's all these people. People living in their cars. That you can't even get adequate sleep. You in a state of constant anxiety. You know what I'm saying? The wind blow and you think somebody pulling on the door handle and shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, you got your butter knife ready to. You know, you got to put up a makeshift curtains to make sure people ain't staring at you while you sleep.
On and off.
Yeah, bro.
Because
Like
they want to waste the gas.
conserve gas, setting alarms.
Yeah.
So let the car be on full blast for an hour and then the alarm go off. And then take 30 minutes to go back to sleep. That's hell, bro. That's hell, man.
Better be happy you got a car.
Yeah, it could be
In
worse.
that situation.
And you could be like the immigrants that came from Mexico and got dropped off in New York in the end of the summer, and when September hit October, they was up there freezing,
Damn.
sleeping on that cold ass concrete outside of damn Trump Hotel. The irony in that. You know what I'm saying?
It says restraint, affliction, narrowness, distress, to draw apart.
Yeah, that Broadway is gone.
Yeah.
The Broadway of America of you can walk down the street and find a $20 bill. You know what I'm saying? You can get a job easy. You know what I'm saying? You can be an immigrant, come up here and get illegal paperwork and go up to Bellingham and be one of 30 Mexicans working on a roof. True story.
Miguel.
No, Miguel. True story. Up in Bellingham, Washington, there was 30 Issacharites. All right. We know them as Mexicans because they're not in the truth. That got ICE swooped up there and caught them niggas at work on the roof, putting up somebody, whatever roof it was, up there working on the roof. Yeah, y'all got to come down, man. Yeah, y'all, we putting y'all on Air Force 2 and sending you back to Venezuela. I'm not from Venezuela. So that's where you gonna go.
You're not from America either, nigga.
You know. But yeah, that's that Broadway of get it how you live in America. That's gone. That's gone, man. You know, that anaconda squeeze is being put on society. You know, to funnel everybody. Hey, get in line. Get ready to get this chip. Just how you got a herd. You're taking them back to the quarters where they dwell. You know, a bunch of sheep, or you know, and when it can be a big old field full of sheep. But when they go back to the pasture, or not the pasture, but to the what's the word I'm looking for? The manger or
Farm.
Where they sleep at or whatever.
Yeah.
Farm.
The barn. There we go. They, you know, usually it's one. They go one at a time. So that's what Esau is trying to do, putting that squeeze on society, getting everybody in order. We know where everybody's at. We're making a list and checking it twice, and we're gonna make sure everybody get in line and get this chip. That's the direction society is going, man.
And go. Yeah, that's why that the movie Divergent. It showed you how they categorize you, and that's to separate everybody, but at the same time it's to what is it? It's to keep you damn, I forget what kind of thought I had with that. Damn, so but basically it's keep you separate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
mainly.
Yeah.
And keep you at odds, kind of, because now you want different teams and different squads and shit. That movie was a good movie. That you talk about the narrow. One of the Adam definitions for narrow is oppressive.
Mm.
So you talking about, you know, motherfuckers lining up for the chip and having to be, you know, in that state of being told what to do and shit.
Yeah.
About to be through.
Was that it, Thaba?
No, there's a little more.
Okay, go ahead.
It says draw apart, hinder, to compel, coerce. This means apart, and then stringere means to draw tight or press together. See strain, meaning anguish, grief, pain, or suffering of the body or mind.
That's what's coming to this world, man. And if you hey, the water, like the brother said, the water y'all watching me outside. Like, these people have not prepared their minds for that. These people, even though all those definitions is that the brother read is looking these people directly in the face, they still haven't wrapped their mind around that the fact that they are gonna have to go through that and experience that. You know what I'm saying?
They're still believing in the peace and safety.
Yeah.
Even though
The
there's
golden
no
age.
peace or safety anywhere around them, they have a preconceived notion that this place is going to be like how it was in the 50s again.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be safe. There's going to be green parks with no litter, you know, and it's a world where everybody picks up their dog poop. That's what they envision. You know what I mean?
And really, the main thing that they hoping for is where you, if you wanted to, you can kill a nigger and just
Right.
get away with it.
And just smile with your children. and take
Y'all
a picture.
walk across the street.
Have a
You
picnic.
walk across the street when you see a white man coming, or y'all don't eat, y'all not allowed in this restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It's illegal to look at Jim Crow era. It's illegal to look at an Edomite. That's what Esau wants. That's the golden age of America for him.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And these young YN Edomite YN generation, they know that that's what their grandparents and great grandparents, they lived in that world. They want to experience that. They don't want to experience a world where Jake is banging all the snow bunnies and popular and you know the example of what everybody wants to be. No, they want Captain America to be that guy again. You know.
Case in point, the high school that I stabbed the white kid, Jake. You know, they was messing with Jake, told him to move, broke his phone and all of that shit. Like I said, this is that mindset of that, you know, the Edomites in the 50s. Like, you gonna get up. You ain't finna sit here. You ain't finna.
White on the vibes.
Got stabbed in the heart.
Yeah.
Died in your brother's arm. Now everybody's sad and shit.
Fuck
Well,
that guy.
you know. But that's what you.
Yeah, hey, your heyday is over, nigga.
Yeah, they ain't
That's right.
JK, you know, like I said, those young YN Jakes, they ain't trying to hear that shit.
Nah, they
You
on
gonna tell
demons
the
on.
Jake, hey, get up out of here. Nah, I ain't moving.
Yeah.
You gonna get hit with the switch.
They was created to crash out. These
Yeah.
YNs was created to crash out. That's
That's a promise
they're demons and they know they demons.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
scary,
yeah.
bro. Like them niggas are on the dark side and they know it and they love that shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary, man.
Didn't the scripture say it shall bring forth monsters?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that going into the form children as a result of
Nuclear.
and all that. But
Yeah.
these niggas is monsters though. You know. Was that it on your definition, Papa?
Yeah.
All right. So you
You want the trade deficit?
yeah, and then we'll end it off with over there.
Brother search understanding trade deficit. It says, explain to me what a trade deficit is. This is from Deep Sea. It says a trade deficit occurs when a country imports more goods and services than it export over a given period, usually a year. In other words, it means the country is buying more from foreign nations than it is selling to them.
Mm-hmm.
It says keep.
And in the case of America, that's pretty much its relationship as far as trade with all these other nations. You know, we read it in Revelation 18. You know, go ahead, bro.
Key points: imports to exports. A trade deficit happens when the value of a country's imports, goods and services bought from abroad, exceeds the value of its exports, goods and services sold to other countries. It said two. It says measured in the current account. The trade balance is part of a country's current account, which also includes income from investments and transfers. Three. It says not necessarily bad. While often viewed negatively, a trade deficit isn't always harmful. It can indicate strong consumer demand, economic growth, or investment opportunities.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's not necessarily bad. Say, for instance, it's a high demand for certain products or whatnot. America might pump out and sell to other nations certain products, but there's certain products that are in demand here in America that come from other nations. So that can cause a trade deficit. Even though you still pumping out and selling shit, but the demand for toilet paper or whatever, some shit from China, is so high that's where that deficit comes from.
Right. The amount that America actually does export out to other countries is very small in scale and in comparison to how much it imports from the other.
Number four. It says financed by capital inflows. Countries with trade deficit often rely on foreign investment, like loans or asset sales, to cover the gap. Example: in the U.S., if the U.S. buys 800 billion in goods from China but sells only 200 billion to China, it has a 600 billion trade deficit with China.
Mm-hmm. And that's how Trump came up, like we said earlier, that's how he came up with his numbers as far as what he wanted to impose as far as tariffs on these other nations. He used a trade deficit to do that.
It's,
That nigga is intriguing.
yeah. Intriguing.
Yeah, intriguing.
Cause of trade deficits: strong domestic demand. Consumers and businesses buy more imports. Currency strength. A strong currency makes imports cheaper and exports more expensive.
Which that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Our dollar stretches hella far, so I can get 10 of these from China versus one from America. I'm buying 10 from China, because the dollar being strong. So just using that as an example, or buying something from Africa somewhere, or Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Buying avocados from Mexico versus buying them from the local farmer market or something.
Mm-hmm.
You can get 10 avocados for $1 from Mexico versus it's $1.50 from the farmer's market here in America. So that can be an example as well.
Manufacturing gaps. If a country doesn't produce,
And we at manufacturing, we went in that earlier.
If a country doesn't produce enough goods,
America.
it relies on imports. Read that again. Manufacturing gaps. If a country doesn't produce enough goods domestically,
America.
it relies on imports.
So if you ain't making nothing, you gotta rely on you gotta go strong arm some shit. Go ahead.
It says global supply chains. Many products require parts from multiple countries.
The automotive industry here in America relies heavily, because the automotive industry started up in like Detroit, that area.
Yep.
In Detroit, Michigan literally is it borders Canada. Toronto and Detroit ain't nothing but a hour drive or something like that. But a lot of parts that go into the automotive vehicles produced in America, those parts actually are made in Canada. So even with this whole tariff situation, before the tariffs took place, you had Canadians that was coming to America to buy vehicles and drive them back to Canada before the tariffs took effect. But also, a lot of those companies that manufacture parts for American vehicles, you know, those companies are up in Canada, man.
Yep.
You know, so it went into manufacturing, and America ain't manufacturing nothing. You know, so read that part again, bro.
The manufacturing.
Yeah.
Manufacturing gaps. If a country doesn't produce enough goods domestically, it relies on imports.
Mm-hmm.
Global supply chains. Many products require parts from multiple countries, increasing imports.
Mm-hmm. A lot of also Mexico builds a lot of car parts and things of
Yeah.
that nature, and then they're assembled here in America. You know.
One of the first things I think of is how all the microchips and processors come from Taiwan.
Yeah. Yep.
Pros and cons.
Oh, and that's another thing too, because they was talking about how we were talking about Trump trying to get those other companies from overseas to manufacture here in America, and there was something in the news a couple weeks ago talking about Taiwan with the chips and how America, you know, Trump trying to boast and say, you know, we're gonna be the leading chip maker and all this. That's not possible, because the knowledge that they have as far as making those chips in Taiwan, they were saying that it took years to get on that level.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just build a chip making facility in Babylon and just think that it's going to perform or even, you know, exceed the expectations of what they have over there in Taiwan. It don't work like that.
Right.
You know, so they're dependent on getting chips from Taiwan.
Right.
You know, yeah. Read that last part again, bro. So.
Global supply chains. Many products require parts from multiple countries, increasing imports.
Yeah.
Pros and cons. Pros. It says consumers consumers get access to cheaper, more diverse goods. Can signal a strong, growing economy. The cons. It says may lead to job losses in certain industries, e.g., manufacturing. Can increase national debt if financed by borrowing.
Yeah, the EG is an example given. So the example they gave was, if you want to read that one more time. EG.
Manufacturing, e.g., many selected cons. It says may lead to job losses in certain industries.
Oh, that's yeah. Ain't no may lead, nigga. It did lead to to job loss in a lot of industries. You know.
Can increase.
Hey, shit. With those, they just firing people and shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
10,000. About 1,000.
People who got so-called secure jobs,
Yeah.
just
Government
losing their
jobs.
job left and right, man.
When you think of a government job, you're like, oh, you set for life.
Yeah,
set for
you
life.
think you in there. Somebody else that work for the government, that's usually the job. You gonna like they say in the military, the 1st and 15th, you gonna get paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's
Until
not
there's a government shutdown.
until there's a government shutdown, or until some South African buys a presidency and becomes the head of a department that is in charge of all
Yeah.
these government departments and can X whichever one
Yeah.
he feels
The dark matter.
like today. Right.
The dark matter.
Shit, I got 2 neighbors that just got their jobs done.
Furlough.
Yeah. I mean, they're old. They just gonna retire, but it's like, goddamn.
You got a lot of stuff coming down the pike in the job aspect, because you do have, on the one hand, you got all these government jobs that's being axed and whatnot, which is increasing the unemployment, right, saturating the market for people that's trying to hunt down jobs.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, though, you have businesses that's still failing, you know, never been able to bounce back quite since COVID, all right, and then you still have people that's losing their job to AI. There's a whole bunch that's going on right now, man. You know, that's making the people upset, which is why you have so many uproars of the people.
Yeah, you got the genocide of retail.
Oh yeah,
Malls,
Macy's
Right.
closing like 100 stores this year.
I seen an article earlier. I didn't click on it to see what it was talking about, but it was, I guess there's a strike or people are going to protest against Walmart and Target and Amazon and so on and so forth for whatever reason it may be. You know. Whatever.
Bottom line
And that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
says a trade deficit is just one part of a country's economic picture. It becomes a concern only if it's
Sustainable.
unsustainable or driven by long-term weaknesses like declining competitiveness.
Yeah, ain't no competition, economic competition in America. America, you know what I'm saying? There's other regions of the world that make America look stupid. You know, as far as just their economy, their infrastructure, how transportation itself. You know what I'm saying? What's that in Singapore? China got those fast ass trains. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of different things that America is just
Lacking.
dead last in. Even remember back in when we first came to truth, the rating, the infrastructure rating of Babylon, and it was always just crap.
Right.
You know.
You got countries that doing it better for like morality for the people. You got countries that have a smaller work week where people are more happy and whatnot.
Remember, we went into it a couple weeks ago when I read the EU nations that some were strong, some were weak, and went into the specifics of the countries. Some might financially they might not be strong, but socially they're strong.
Right.
Economically they're strong or whatnot. There were certain countries that they didn't make a large wages or whatnot, but the citizens are happy. Because the government actually paid for housing and things of that nature. The shit people was going to protest here in America over. These other countries, in particular over in Europe, don't have to experience certain aspects of what Babylonians got to experience with just housing alone.
Yep.
But we can get that Obadiah and then we can wrap it up. So start at.
I was just gonna make mention and say that morality goes a long way. Having people happy and whatnot.
That's a foundation.
That goes super far, man.
Yeah, that's a foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you got, it could be big scale, small scale. You got, people in the military, they'll have like days where they take, everybody and go do something
For morale.
to build morale. A company will have a day where they, y'all, hey man, everybody takes a day off. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna have a dunk tank for the CEO and games and this and this and that. But it's for morale because when your people are happy, they're more willing to do what the fuck you need them to do.
Yep, they're way more productive.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's a genuinely pleasant environment and structure.
Yep.
When the morale is up versus everybody being miserable. That's when you get all kinds of people calling out of work all the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The production level is worse. Right.
Yeah.
They want to strike.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Type shit.
That's what we're seeing right now. People ain't fucking with this.
All right.
Go
So
ahead.
we're gonna end it off with Obadiah, starting at verse 17 in the NLT.
This is Obadiah 17 in the NLT. But Jerusalem will become a refuge for those who escape. It will be a holy place.
Hey, didn't we read in the Apocrypha in Second Esdras where it said, the land, the Most High's land. Verse 8, Second Esdras 9 and 8, it says, all of them will survive the dangers I have described and will enjoy the salvation provided in the land that I have set apart from eternity as my own. So that place where the elect is going to experience salvation, being you know, whatever. Ain't no danger that's gonna come toward us. You know what I'm saying? We're delivered. We're saved. That's salvation. We're gonna be, you know, experiencing or enjoy is gonna be in the land of Israel, man. Okay. So if you want to read that again.
This is Obadiah.
And that was a GNT I read for the Apocrypha.
This is Obadiah 17 in the NLT. But Jerusalem will become a refuge for those who escape. It will be a holy place, and the people of Israel will come back to reclaim their inheritance.
Yeah. Which is why all that chaos going on in the land of Israel currently is happening, because those people don't belong there, man.
18. The people of Israel will be a raging fire, and Edom a field of dry stubble. The descendants of Joseph will be a flame roaring across the field,
Yeah, the northern kingdom.
devouring everything. There will be no survivors in Edom. I, the Lord, has spoken.
Right, and the literal descendants of Joseph being Ephraim and Manasseh, but the whole nation of Israel, from Judah to Issachar, is going to partake in, you know, lighting Edom ablaze.
Yeah, man.
Fire burn, fire blaze.
There's plenty of pasty fucks to burn for everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like it 4th of July. You know, all the kids get a little sparkler or whatnot. You get the little snakies. You light on fire that doesn't do shit. It just burns, right? Yeah. Everybody's gonna get the opportunity to play with fireworks. You know what I'm saying? With Esau, Edom, man, get to light some Edomites on fire.
Just like
Everybody gets a turn.
Obadiah 19 in the NLT, it says, Then my people living in Negev will occupy the mountains of Edom. Those living in the foothills of Judah will possess the Philistine plain and take over the fields of Ephraim and Samaria. And the people of Benjamin will occupy the land of Galilee. Gilead.
Yeah, so our borders is gonna be enlarged, and we're gonna get our inheritance back. Each tribe is gonna get their inheritance back. You know, and some.
Yep.
know?
Plus,
All the shit
because it won't just be confined to where the 12 tribes originally got set up in the land of Canaan, right? When we took over it in the time of Joshua, right? It ain't gonna just be confined to that what that was. No, it says that we get Samaria. It says that we get the surrounding area. We get Edom. We get Moab. We get Ammon.
Right?
All of those was neighbors that bordered us.
Even
we get all of their land.
The desert.
Yep. Towards Egypt. Yep. All of that's ours.
Shit, Saudi Arabia, all that.
Yep.
Yep. Getting all that.
That whole little.
You've been evicted.
Hey, realistically, the whole earth is going to be ran by Israelites. You're going to have Israelites in rulership over the entirety of the planet. But as far as our country, where our people belong, we're going to have that in the earth.
Continuing city.
Verse 20, Obadiah 20 in the NLT, the exiles of Israel will return to the land and occupy the Phoenician coast as far north as Zarephath.
Yeah, the Phoenician coast. So, Zarephath. Yeah. Go ahead.
The captives from Jerusalem exiled in the north will return home and resettle the towns of Negev. Those who have been rescued will go up to the Mount Zion in Jerusalem and rule over the mountains of Edom, and the Lord himself will be king.
Yeah. Right. So, the land of Edom Judah's gonna get that land. Yep. The land of Edom, which is south of the land of Judah, anyways. But yeah, man. We as Israelites, all right, the hopeful elect, Arabah Allah, Abaratazah, That's 144,000. You know, we got a lot to look forward to, man. You know, being an Israelite, you got a lot to look forward to. Well, yeah, that pretty much wraps up the lesson. You know, uproars, our brothers was edified. And one of y'all brothers can take us home, man.
All right, hey, once again, we're going to give all praise and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachat, Quadash.
Hey, man, until next time, we're saying shalom.
Hey, shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Oh, we boy.